think we need to be extremely educated on the impacts of our actions because we want to live good lives. We want other people to live good lives, and most of our actions are actually contradictory with that. Here's some fast tips and ideas, and hopefully it'll help you live a more peaceful and pleasant life. Cut out negative people in your life. You can identify that before a conversation with them, and then after a conversation with them, you feel less happy more often than happy. Think, after spending time with these people, do I move forward? Do I stagnate, or do I move back? The most brilliant people I know in my life have stayed where they are because of the people around them. For some reason, these brilliant people in my life speak to these people who berate them and hold them back and actively don't want what's best for them. There's people out there who genuinely want the best for you. Surround yourself with them. It might be scary in the beginning. You might wonder, can I just do this? Yeah, you can. You totally can. It's no different from cutting other bad habits out of your life. You're amazing. You deserve everything. You deserve a peaceful, loving life. Potentially, you have to be honest with yourself. Sometimes good friends will make us face harsh truths. So there's a bit of self-intelligence you need to use here when you're identifying which people are actually holding you back. Does this person actually want the best for me, or are they thinking about themselves? That's normally pretty easy for most people to answer. And then the next hurdle is getting over the emotional attachment of, yeah, but. And I just think if we give into that yeah, but all the time in our life, where will we end up? Well, we're on the meditation channel, so yeah, sure, you can meditate. I think ultimately, to live a maximally peaceful life, meditation will have to be in there. But to get to those bits where those shifts really happen, it can take some time. It took me years to feel confident with my meditation practice in a way in which it was clearly transformational, mind-blowingly transformational. So I think just put some meditation in there in your life if you can. Find some videos, read some books, check out the channel. The benefits come in early, even if you don't get to those advanced places, and it gives you a new way of relating to the world from the craziness and the crazy chaotic way most people usually relate to the world. Yeah, just check out your wardrobe. Go minimalist if you can. There's so many ways we're spending our time which are just unproductive and unnecessary. Find clothes which are comfortable and applicable for a lot of situations. It takes some time. Definitely a lot of things that we don't need. Here's a funny story. My partner and I, when we came to New Zealand, my parents hadn't thrown away, or I hadn't thrown away anything from my childhood. Everything from my childhood was still at my family home. And so it took us maybe 3 months to get rid of it all. I think we sold all my some childhood toys, all my just like kids' drawings I'd done, letters and cards people had sent me. So I don't need any of that stuff. It's terrible for the environment. It's such an unnecessary strain. I can find inner peace sitting, so I don't need these. I'm getting marketed to buy all this rubbish. These things don't make life better. They just weigh me down. Put it all on the New Zealand selling website, to keep it sustainably. Recycle all the paper. And I think we end up selling like this giant bunch of trash. I might have sold it all for like $2,000, I think. That's how much stuff I had. Too much stuff. Everything that comes into our house, we question it. We say, what's the purpose of this? Is this going to be around? Can we justify the environmental footprint? It was quite confronting in the beginning to get used to that, because there was still some desires of thinking, oh, but I want that thing. The more I connect to the higher values for me, which is much more than just a momentary desire, how is this going to impact the environment? Can I take responsibility for this item I am purchasing? Most things aren't worth that. Don't get rid of things you don't need and then go buy out more stuff. That's obviously not a good environmental idea. But if you can have less stuff, I definitely feel lighter having less stuff. Start recycling or moving away from the amount of things you have. Minimalism will give you more space in the head. And if you can, stop buying more things you don't need. Spend more time in nature, less time in malls. Here's another practical thing you can do. Challenging, but yeah, unsubscribe from all those things that you're getting spam messages from. Unsubscribe. Quite time consuming and can be very frustrating, because a lot of these websites, they don't want you to get out. But this one, take it or leave it, because it could also be stressful. But I create lists of what I want to get done. But we create lists of things that we need to get done in the day. We get them done as soon as possible. Every moment of getting something done is fun and abundant and joyful, and a way of being together, moving towards the betterment of all conscious beings as much as I can. I want to be in the position to make the world a better place today. It's not to say that I'm like working hard and straining myself. This doesn't match my experience at all. It's a terrible description. If new ideas come out, which I know will move me forward, I want those ideas in my head sooner rather than later, which very conveniently leads me to my last point. Educate yourself. Read books. Yeah, watch videos. There's some good podcasts, online material, but educate yourself. So general education, but education there's probably some priority list amongst all those different things where it's going to be more natural for you to have impact and easier for you to have impact. Pick some topics, learn more, watch videos, do whatever you can. I think one of the biggest missings at the moment in moving the world forward, just like I'm intimidated by people's ability to adapt quickly, I think it's just a lack of education. I still see people who I think believe that it's reasonable to physically abuse their children, people who think that it's just as reasonable to yell at their children, people who don't understand the impact of their actions. And I think we need to be extremely educated on the impacts of our actions, because we want to live good lives. We want other people to live good lives, and most of our actions, or a lot of our actions, are actually contradictory with that. As an example, there are parents who say they want what's best for their kids, and then they feed their children food that's going to severely impact their health. And again, I totally understand that things are complicated and conditions matter a lot, and nothing is personal, but there is a question about how we want things to be and whether we can do something about them. There's a lot of things we claim to be true, that we want what's best for ourselves and we want what's best for others, and we're simply not acting in accordance with those desires. There's so many things I need to do better, but I'm educating on myself and I'm trying to find those opportunities. And even that might still not be enough, but it's closer than doing nothing, and it's not personal. The reality is that that's what I've got to do. May we become very, 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 very skillful in creating the circumstances and embodying the behaviors that will help us live peaceful lives, and others too. She's always buying things. She gets bored, so she buys things. So we should create a meme of that, and you can send that to your consumerist parents, or consumerist friends. This is an official message from Sonam Hawani. Please stop buying things you don't need.